And so Pilate does this. And he's like, you know what? Here's King of the Jews, who I can't find any fault in, or else now he's going to put up this guy named Barabbas. And John doesn't give us a lot of information about Barabas, but the other Gospels do. And if we take what they've said about Barabbas, he is a robber who has started a rebellion and an insurrection in which he has murdered people. And so he's no Gandhi, okay? Barabbas isn't this nonviolent, civil, disobedient, just like gem of political change. He's pretty violent, pretty vulgar, and pretty rightly standing on death row. But I love the last verse of our passage today. I love the brevity of it. Because as Pilate puts out Jesus, King of the Jews, or Barabbas, this is what the crowd chooses. They cried out again, not this man, but Barabbas. Now Barabbas was a robber. Now this is the part of the story where, and I've heard this before, and there's chances I've probably preached it like this before, where I say to you, you know what? Your sin is like Barabbas, okay? Your sin is angry, your sin is murderous, your sin is hurtful, your sin is just, don't choose sin. Don't choose Barabbas. Choose Jesus. You have a choice between Jesus. You have a choice between sin. Jesus isn't going to hurt you. Choose Jesus and let Barabbas go and die. Yet the more I looked at this passage, the more I was convicted that this is the wrong emphasis. That this isn't what the text is getting at. Because you see, without Jesus, Barabbas was going to die. He would not have been the first pick out of death row to have his debt expunged. And that's why Pilate picked him. Because he's trying to force the hand of Israel. Be like, you know what, here's a guy who really hasn't done anything. Here's a murderer. He picked the most vulgar criminal he probably could to try to get them to pick Jesus. And yet they picked Barabbas. The crowds picked the murderer, the convict, the felon. And the more I thought about this, in this story, we're not the crowds who pick Jesus or Barabbas. We're not Pilate who puts out the two options. We're not Jesus who saves. We're Barabbas. We're the man rightfully condemned on death row who through the innocent death of a firstborn are released from captivity. That's who we are. That's our role in the story. We are justly condemned in our sin. We are justly condemned before God. We earned our spot in the Roman prison the exact same way Barabbas earned it. And yet by the slaughter of what Paul calls in Corinthians the ultimate Passover lamb, we are set free from bondage and slavery because someone else took the place. We were held in captivity, but through the death of God's firstborn son, God again proved his faithfulness to his people and redeemed us from slavery. We committed treason against God. We rejected his kingship. We rejected his authority. We rejected his sovereignty. We surrendered his truth. We murdered his son. We deserved death. Yet Jesus, the spotless and blameless, took our spot on the cross.